Hey guys, welcome back to another semi-live. It is Monday afternoon today, January 30th. Got a few hours here this afternoon, so I'm gonna go out and walk some public ground here in Iowa, and I'm hoping tomorrow I can get back out also for a few hours. This will be my first time walking down here all year. I've done a little walking up in Wisconsin, but about every time I want to go look down here, it seems like we've been getting fresh snow and it just kind of nips it in the butt. So do have snow on the ground still. I would say roughly 40% is open. Anything south facing, and a lot of the stuff wet is west facing, where it gets that afternoon sun is now opening up too. So I'd say about 40% open ground. The rest is still snow covered. Not a ton of snow, but enough to make it difficult to look in. So I'll probably try to focus on the areas where the snow's melted off, and you know, just stick to food sources, main trails, and I might even get into a couple bedding ridges. So couple more miles here to get to the spot I want to walk, and then we'll get after it. It's gonna be about 3.5 hours of looking here before dark, so hopefully we can turn something up. Come along with me. Just getting ready to start walking here. Real quick tip, this time of year it's cold. It's probably in the single digits today, but obviously wear gloves. Put hot hands in your gloves. Keep your hands warm. You're gonna be able to walk a lot longer. I wear hot hands a lot because happy hands stay out in the woods a lot longer. But pretty self-explanatory, but a quick tip: a lot of people go out, get cold feet, get cold hands, and they're done for the day. So hot hands. Keep your hands hot, keep walking. Well, you can see right off the bat, I'm not the first person here, but these look like old tracks, so. So I just hiked back in here a little ways, and as you can see over my shoulder here, there is some standing soybeans. It's not a lot, maybe a couple acres, but there's a lot of wooded ditches and like CRP grass back in this area. So what I'm gonna do, I would assume people have looked in these beans, and I'll probably spend a little bit of time looking in and around them, but I'm gonna check kind of these ditches and all these grassy pockets where I think the deer are laying down throughout the night in between feeding. It's kind of hard to tell how much deer sign there is in here just because the snow's 50% gone, and but you can tell there are a good amount of deer hitting this area. So I'm just gonna kind of work real slow, like I said, back through this grassy CRP looking stuff, check these ditches, and then before I leave here, I'll probably take a look through the beans. Probably not gonna spend a ton of time in the beans, just because about anyone that stops to look at a spot like this probably goes straight to the beans. So we'll see what happens here. I've done well in this area in the past, and hopefully we can get on something here today. Another thing, I know JP mentioned it in the semi-live last week, and we probably talk about it every time we are out looking for sheds, but don't come out without binocs. Save yourself a lot of steps. spot things that look like sheds, whether it be a stick or grass or whatever it is. You can save a lot of steps by being able to throw up your binocs and check it out from a distance and not have to walk over to everything that resembles a shed. So don't leave home without them. One thing worth mentioning is I'm kind of walking the outside of this CRP right now, and these grassy edges where this CRP kind of butts up to this timber, you can kind of just see this grass and it gets matted down, and these deer love to lay down on these edges throughout the night. It's obviously not where they're going to bed throughout the day, but a lot of times they'll go out, they'll feed, they'll come lay down, go back, feed, and they'll do that 2-3 times throughout the night. These spots are an excellent place to look for sheds because those deer, like I said, are back and forth to them a couple times a night. You can see here, you know, the deer shit down in these spots, and they kind of got it trampled down. But this whole edge here is like that. So just another kind of one of those spots that you don't want to overlook, where these deer might be laying down throughout the night, where I find a lot of my sheds. So it's looking good in here. I got a feeling we're gonna run into something here eventually. I just spotted the first shed of the day. Like I said before, I've been just kind of working these grassy areas, and this grassy area kind of went down into this ditch behind this pond and back up, and I'm only 40 yards off the beans, right up here over my shoulder, and just walking up down along this edge, and we got one laying right up here. So we're on a board. Let's go see what it is. Looks like a decent little antler. Nice little 4-point, probably a 2-year-old deer. But we're on the board. We've probably only been walking, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. But as you can see, pretty fresh. Still has the wax ring on it. Ain't any blood on it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Not every deer is going to leave blood on the pedicle when they drop them. But I'd say this antler's probably been on the ground less than a week. But we're on the board. Decent little 4-point, and we're just getting started for the afternoon. Let's see what else we can find. I kind of got sucked back up by the beans, so I'm gonna go ahead. This strip's probably 30 to 40 yards wide by 150 yards long approximately. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it in half and kind of just zigzag back and forth, cover half of the field to the other end, and then bring the other half back. Same thing, just like a zigzag pattern. And a lot of the snow's melted off. Might miss some small ones, but if there's anything decent in size, I should see it in these beans. Want to pay close attention to the edges though. For some reason, right around the edges of these fields always produce, so we'll see. Been walking this spot for a lot of years, and this is the first year I can ever remember they left a waterway right down the middle of this. Usually it's solid field across here, so I'm definitely gonna walk down this waterway. Pretty good chance deer are laying in it throughout the night. See if I can find something here. Just got up in the woods. Those beans are, you can probably maybe see them through the trees. Probably 75 yards back behind me. But you can see up here, I'm just getting to a wall of cedars. Good bedding grass in there. Usually a lot of deer sign in there. I did cut some people tracks coming in from the other direction down on that field. I don't know if they looked a whole lot outside of the field, but they did walk the perimeter like I was kind of doing. So I haven't seen any boot tracks up in here yet. Just kind of gonna work through this area. It's not very big, maybe a couple acres. See what happens here. I'm just about back to the vehicle. Got maybe an hour and a half till dark. I'm gonna cruise down the road. There's another spot I want to pop into and give a little time before dark. Still sitting on just the one antler. No complaints. See what happens here the rest of the day. None of the tracks look super fresh though. Finally, just found one. I was kind of working up through the CRP along the field here, and I came to this matted down section of grass. As you can see right here, it kind of, I don't know if you can see that, how it gets shorter here behind me. And I look down and I see a beam sticking up about 30 yards away. So let's go check it out. It's been about two and a half hours since I found one. Kind of nice to break the ice again. Fresh antler. Nice little 2-year-old. You can see mice and stuff are chewing on the brow a little bit, but I'll take it. Antler number 2 on the day. I got, I don't know, 40 minutes of light. See if I can't find anything else. I got about 15 minutes left. I got one pocket between me and the car. You can see back behind me there's a ditch, and there's actually a pond down here. I just jumped about half a dozen deer when I came over the hill, but I just kind of want to work down through this draw, check some of these spots around this pond, and then I'll pretty much be out of light. Maybe I'll run into one more. Got 2 on the day so far. See if we can finish strong. Well, that's going to be a wrap for today. Out of light here. Ended up picking up the 2 antlers. This 4-point was the first one I picked up, and then here towards the end I picked up another small 4-point. So not a bad day for getting out for a couple hours, checking some public out. They moved crops around a little bit, so I wasted a little bit of time in some dead areas today, but I did find some spots that I am gonna be back to. And I got a few other spots I'd like to check out. I got some work to do tomorrow morning, but hoping to get out for another walk tomorrow afternoon, so we'll catch you guys then. All right, it is Tuesday. I had to meet up with Mike this morning, get some stuff done for work, but gonna head out and look for sheds here the rest of the day. Gonna go to a different area than I was in yesterday, and walk some more public. Sounded like Mike was gonna head out and do some walking here this afternoon also, so we'll both be out. I'm sure you'll see what he's got going on too, but one downfall to today is it's full sun. I think it's supposed to be full sun all day, which isn't ideal, but it's really the last day I got to look here before we gotta get ready to hit the road for trade shows. We're heading out to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the Great American Outdoor Show. Starts Saturday. We're actually hitting the road on Thursday. So it's really my last chance to walk until after that show. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. should get a solid 5-6 hours of walking in today. Going into an area that I've walked for several years. Typically I do decent in there, but it's tough to say. It's public land. Usually there's food around to keep the deer in the area. It's just a matter of if you get in there before other people. But I would say with having been so cold and having snow on the ground, even though it hasn't been much, I'm hoping it's enough to keep most people at home on the couch. So we'll see. I'll dive in there pretty deep, hopefully outwork people, and see if we can turn up anything today. Last day of the month here in January. Still a lot of bucks carrying, but there's antlers on the ground, there's no doubt about that. Hopefully we can round up a couple today. I am at the first spot of the day. I just hiked probably, I don't know, a mile to get back in here. It's a spot I like to check every year. I found some good antlers in here over the years, but really it's probably about 5 to 10 acres of bedding, and it's all like up here behind me. It's all cedars, and back in this timber here, there's a couple of south-facing slopes. The deer tend to hole up in there in the winter. I don't know if they're going to be near as thick this winter, just because the snow really hasn't got very deep. It's been fairly mild, so about to pop in there and see what I can find. Like I said, over the years it's been good to me. I never find a lot, not big numbers, but I have found some pretty nice antlers in here, so excited to see what happens. Well, I worked my way down this ridge behind me and dropped off the point out here, and when I was doing that, I jumped a bunch of deer, and they were all laying kind of right up in this pocket behind me. As you can see, they're exposed to the sun right here. This is a south-facing hill, but you can kind of see a couple of the beds from where they just got up, where it's real matted down. There's a deer laying here. There's another deer laying right there. Another one right here. Another one right up there. But just goes to show, you know, this hill is probably 80 to 90% snow covered, but as you can see under these cedar trees, you got open grass, and that's where those deer are all piled in. They go to where that bare ground is and they bed up for the day, especially on these south-facing slopes during the winter. So I did run into some boot tracks in here already, but I'm not gonna let it get to me. It looked like they were at least a week old. I'm just gonna kind of keep working all this south-facing hill cedar stuff and see what I run across. Deer bed right there. There's another deer bedded tucked up underneath the cedar right there. I'm really just working this hillside, jumping from cedar to cedar and checking all these open areas underneath. Obviously paying attention in between, but those are the areas I'm really focusing on right now. You can see under these cedars how they've got these browsed pretty much right up to their heads. There's no cedar branch on the bottom of this tree with green on it. It's all just decimated from the deer. It's like that under every one of these trees. I just got done coming out of these cedars. I probably only walked 50-60% of it, but seeing what I seen, I would say there's probably less than 15 or 20 deer wintering in here, which, yeah, you can find antlers out of a group of deer that size, but I'm not gonna waste my time. I got a couple other spots that I want to get to today, and I feel like I'll have a better chance if I can get into more deer. Well, I'm just kind of working around the edge of these beans, kind of in this grassy buffer, and just spotted one. I don't think it's very big, but we're on the board. We have broken the ice. Hopefully we can build off of it. Let's take a look at it. It's laying right down here. So a year and a half. Blood on that one. Kind of a cool deer. It's got a little crab claw out the front. Pretty cool characteristic for a young buck. But not a big antler, but it's an antler and it's fresh. We're on the board here for the day. I'm just off the bean field and there's a nice little pocket of cedars and grass and stuff right here in the corner of the field. It's not very big, and normally I would just work through it, but as you can see, the sun is right in my face. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna work this field edge around, and then I'm gonna kind of zigzag through the cedars with the sun at my back, just because going through there with the sun on my face is not gonna be good. So that's kind of how I'm gonna work this. I'm gonna kind of just wrap around the field edge, get on the far corner of it, and then come through it with the sun on my back. Hopefully that helps me be able to see a little better and not have to deal with the shadows as much. Well, no luck in the cedar patch. So I'm kind of just starting to bump out onto these oak ridges. These deer will come off the food onto these little ridges and lay during the night. A lot of times they'll get right out on these flats where they can see danger and just bed down throughout the night. And I'm just starting to get back in here. I'm already starting to run into bed. So check this ridge, and then there's 2 or 3 over here on the other side of me I want to check also, but good chance there's something laying out here, but you don't know until you look. In the bed. What's going on? About 2 o'clock. I'm back in the big woods now, kind of just working these ridges. I just found one. I'm standing 5 yards away from it. It looks like it's a last year's antler, but I haven't picked it up yet, so I'm not sure. But I actually walked past it, and I caught it when I actually looked backwards. The sun was hitting it once I got past it, and I actually backtracked my steps and tried seeing it from up there, and I couldn't see it with the sun in my face. But thankfully, for whatever reason, I stopped right here and looked back. I don't know if you can see it there or not. It's kind of tucked up next to that little branch right there. Oh, let's go see what we got. It doesn't look very big. Maybe a 2-year-old, but I'm thinking it's from last year. Yeah, it's a last year's drop, but good shape. G2's busted. It's not chewed. It's just busted off. So antler number 2 on the day. It's been about a couple hours since I picked up that first one, but I'm just getting back into this spot where I normally find antlers. There's a couple of south-facing ridges in here that I typically pick them up, so I'm just starting to get into what I consider the good stuff back in here, and then I'm hoping there's food way back in the back, but I'm not gonna know that till I get there. But antler number 2, keep her going. We still got plenty of time, probably 4 hours till dark. Keep on moving. What are you doing there, buddy? Why are you so ornery and ugly? Well, I made it way back in here, and sure enough, there's standing beans down the bottom. There's a smaller patch here, and then on the other side of the creek, it looks like there's beans over there too. There should be deer in here. Probably not as many as normal, just because it's been so mild. Usually this food draws them from a ways, but they got no reason to travel that far when it's so mild. But it's been a while since I picked one up. Gonna start working down in there. towards the beans, work around the edges. There's a sliver of creek in between the two bean fields. I'm gonna work that, and no sign of people yet, so hopefully it stays that way. A lot of times there'll be someone from the private that comes in on four-wheeler and drives through these food plots, assuming they're looking for sheds, but hopefully I beat them in here. We'll see. Just getting back out of the timber. It's almost 4 o'clock. I've gone about 6.5 miles on this piece, about 1.5 miles on the last piece, but heading out. I'm gonna go check a couple other spots. Not sure if I'll walk them or not. It's gonna depend on what it looks like. I haven't been by them since last year. This dang sun though, I kind of gave up earlier than I was hoping in there, because in the timber I just can't see. The sun's so damn bright, especially with the snow that's left on the ground. It's tough. I just got to the last spot of the day. I haven't been in here in a couple years. You can see from the road they got standing corn in this little pocket, but these fields go a long ways back, so I'm just kind of curious to see how much food is here, because this here isn't a whole lot. So I'm just gonna kind of work around the top and go back this ridge and check these fields, obviously looking for sheds along the way. There are some boot tracks in here, but nothing real fresh. So well, that was a bust. I walked all the way to the back end, probably 2.5 miles. There's a bunch of hidden fields back in there, and I just kept telling myself one of them is gonna have crop in it, and none of them did. There's hardly any deer sign in here at all. Just this little bit of standing corn up front, but they probably had that cleaned out before season was even done. So check this spot off the list for the rest of the spring. I did see a lot of turkey sign though. Might have to come back in April and try to shoot one of them. But that's gonna be a wrap for shed hunting for me for a couple weeks. Gotta load the trailer up. Me and JP are hitting the road on Thursday morning to head to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the Great American Outdoor Show. We'll be out there until the last day is Super Bowl Sunday. It's a 9-day show. By the time you guys are seeing this video, we will be on day 2 of 9. So if you're in the area, stop down, say hi, buy some merchandise, and we'll pass her on to Mike. He's gonna be doing some walking here, I think, the next couple of days. And I would imagine a decent amount of walking in the coming weeks. So shed hunting action's just getting started. We look forward to bringing more of it to you. And as we move further into the spring, I would imagine we're gonna be finding more antlers than we are right now. It's still early. So we'll catch you guys in a couple weeks if we don't see you in Pennsylvania.